words. Here we go. Oh, did she disappear? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all those assembled. It's Tuesday, so you know what that means. It's Young International Storytellers, and we have the one, the only Princess Kenza, and she's going to share with us today two dose stories today. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here's the miraculous, I'm making up words now. Here's the wonderful, the talented, the expressive Kenza.
Thank you, Babasi, for your compliments. And so if you want, I start the story. So today I have two stories. The one is about a boy. His name is Jack. And the second story is about the father, son, and donkey. So the first one is short, but not too short. So I start. I'm lost. My name is Kenza, and I'm living in Sia, and I'm 15 years old. So I start the story. The title of story is The Father, Son, and Donkey. Once there was a man and his son who were leading their donkey to market to sell it. As they walked along the road, two men going the other way passed them, and as they did said, "What is wrong with you? You have a donkey. Why aren't you riding on him?" So the man put his son on the donkey and went on. Soon they passed another group of men, and one of them said, "What a spoiled boy! His father walks while he gets to ride." So the man decided to lift the boy off and got on himself to ride. The boy led the donkey with his father riding until they came to a group of women who said to them, "Shame on the lazy man riding on the donkey while that poor boy is forced to walk." So the man lifted his son on the donkey and they both rode him down the road. When they came to some men sitting along the road, and they began to berate the father and son, saying, "Aren't you ashamed of overloading that poor donkey with both of you on his back? It is in this hot sun?" They both got off and went down the road a short distance, wondering what to do. They decided to cut a pole, tie the donkey feet to it, and putting the pole on their shoulders carried the donkey down the road. As they passed, people they jeered at them for carrying the donkey along the road. When they got to the bridge, the donkey got a full loose, and in the struggle fell off the bridge into the river where he drowned. The old man, who had been walking behind them the whole distance, said to them, "That will teach you, please all, and will please none."
You know, one of the lessons of the story, no, wait. Why don't you tell us what you think the lesson of the story is?
I don't listen good.
Okay, so I like the story.
Yes.
And I was about to say what I thought the lesson was, but I thought you should say what the lesson was before I say anything. What is the lesson? What is the moral of the story?
So I think the moral of the story is about don't listen to the people, what he said, and do what is right to do. So in this story, there is a man and a boy and donkey. And when he go to the road, he see a group of men he said a word, and when he go, he said a man, said a group of women, said a word. So everything to he changed to liked what the person said, and in fine the story said that will teach you please all and we will please none. So if you want to do the right, do and stop it. Don't listen to the person what he said and what he judged you, because in this moment the person was not right, and for you is right. So do and stop.
Yeah, I agree. And the lesson I learned from the story is you can't please everybody,
Mhm.
because when they were not riding the donkey, people complained. When he put the boy on the donkey, people complained. So when he got on the donkey and the boy was walking, people complained. And then when they were carrying the donkey, people complained. So
Uh,
you can't satisfy everybody, and you need to be true to yourself, as you were saying. You need to be true to yourself. Excellent story. I like that, Kenza. Very, very good.
Thank
And
you.
now, without further ado,
The
Princess Kenza is going to share another story with us.
Yes. So the second story is about a boy called Jack. So there was a once boy called Jack who loved his mom and dad very much, but most of all loved his granddad. His granddad was a tailor, a man who made clothes by cutting up big pieces of cloth and then sewing them back together. Jack loved to watch his granddad at work. On the day of Jack's fifth birthday, he went to visit his granddad at his shop, and granddad gave him a wonderful new coat. Jack put it on, and it fitted him like a glove. Thanks, Granddad, he grinned. He ran out into the streets where he found his friends who all admired his new cuts. My granddad made this for me. He's a tailor, said Jack proudly. Jack loved his coat so much he never took it off. He wore it where, he wore it there, he wore it everywhere, even over his pajamas. Time passed and Jack grew, but of course the coat didn't. One day his mother said, that coat doesn't fit you anymore, Jack. It's splitting and fried and beginning to smell. Let's throw it away and buy you a new one. No, said Jack. Granddad made this for me. He's a tailor. He can fix it. He took the coat to Granddad's shop. Take the coat off, Jack said to Granddad. I know what to do. Granddad took his scissors and began to cut away at the coat. As he did, he sang a little song. Snip, snip, snip. This is what I do. Snipping here, snipping there, making something new. In and out and in. This is how I sew. Sewing things together, that's what I know. He sewed and he snipped and he sewed. And when he was done, Jack saw that his granddad had turned his coat into a beautiful new jacket. Jack put it on and it fitted him like a glove. Thanks, Granddad, he grinned. He ran out into the street where he found his friends who all admired his new jacket. My granddad made this for me. He's a tailor, said Jack proudly. Jack loved his jacket so much he never took it off. He wore it here, he wore it there, he wore it everywhere, even over his pajamas. Time passed and Jack grew, but of course the jacket didn't. One day his mother said, the jacket doesn't fit you anymore, Jack. It's blinking, it's splitting and frayed and beginning to smell. Let's throw it away and buy a new one. No, said Jack. Granddad made this for me. He's a tailor. He can fix it. He took the jacket to a granddad's shop. Take the jacket off, Jack said. Granddad, I know what to do. Granddad took his scissors and began to cut away at the jacket. As he did, he sang a little song. Snip, snip, snip. This is what I do. Snipping here, snipping there, making something new. In and out and in. This is how I sew. Sewing things together, that's what I know. Over time, and in this way, Jack's granddad turned Jack's jacket into a t-shirt and the t-shirt into a badge. But one day, Jack lost the badge and was very distraught. He went to see his granddad. Sit down, Jack, said Granddad. I have got something very important to tell you. Nothing in life lasts forever. In time, everything gets lost or wears out. Coats, jackets, t-shirts, badges, even the people you love. But if you write a story about these precious things, they last forever because every time you tell the story, you see again the thing that you have lost, and it helps you to get over the sadness. Get me a pen and paper and tell me how this story began. You know, the day of your fifth birthday when I give you the coat. And as Jax told the story, his granddad wrote it down on a piece of paper and then he handed it to Jack when it was done. This is our story, Jack. Cheered the story of my lovely granddad and all the wonderful things he did for me. Jack read the story to his friends, who told it to their friends, who its to turn told it to their friends, until someone told it to me. Now you are a part of the story too, and maybe you will tell it to someone else. Many years later, Jack Granddad died. After the funeral, Jack felt very sad. But reading that story really helped because whenever Jack told it, he saw not the clothes and the badge, but his wonderful granddad, whom he had loved so much. Thanks.
That's a great story. I've heard different versions of that, but that was a great story. Simona, would you like to comment on Kenza and her storytelling today?
Sure. Yeah. Can you hear me? Sorry, I
Yes.
I had the guillotine in front of the screen.
I've worked with those
Um,
before.
I loved both of your stories, Kenza, and I tell both of them, and it's always wonderful to hear different versions. And I particularly liked. Oh, oh. My sorry, alarm. I particularly liked the second story and the version with Jack and his grandpa. It was really nice. A twist from the version I tell, where it's just Taylor who makes things for himself, not the granddad who makes it for his grandson. Which is really nice. And I loved how you told both of them. So thank you very much for sharing them.
Thank you.
Yes, I agree with everything Simona said. I also love the fact that you tied it into the writing down the story, because the telling of the story means that not only the clothes that his grandfather made for him, but his grandfather will be remembered. And as long as you tell stories about people and things, they can never truly perish. So I really like that. That was great. That was really great. Thank you. I hope you're going to stick around. We have a couple of people, a couple of youngsters in the cafe who are going to tell us stories. And I think, and if I mess your name up, please forgive me. Is it Eunice? Right. So Eunice is going to tell us a tale, and then Heba? Is it Heba? Did I say it correctly? Okay, they'll let me know. Okay, so Eunice, unmute and tell us your tale. Well, first, tell us who you are and where you are, and then tell us your tale.
Okay.
Okay,
Hi,
hold up.
everybody. My name is Yunus. I hope you are enjoying this evening in this live. Today, I'm a student at the university and a student and a teacher in the Hanna Cafe Association. Today, I'm gonna tell a story written here. Unfortunately, I can't tell it orally because I'm not really know it. So I hope you enjoy. When I was 2 or 3 years old, I lived in a house that had a strange atmosphere. I do not remember anything about the house except a stairway. It was dark, squeaking, and quite narrow. About the house, and its steps were a little high for me to climb up. From the bottom of the stairway, it seemed like an endless climb to the top. Beyond the darkness, at the top of the stairway, there was an elegant, middle-aged lady leaning against the wall. I had to pass her every time I went to my room. For my room was the first room beyond the stairs on the second floor. The lady wore a beautiful dress with a white pattern and dense blue. And her beautiful eyes stared at me every time I went up the stairs. As I carefully climbed up the last step, her eyes became fixed on me. She didn't talk, nor did she move. She just stood there and watched me climb up the stairs. One day I touched her, but she did not react. Her face did not change expression, nor did she even blink. She just kept staring at me with her glittering eyes. Later, we moved out of the house, and I never saw her again. Now I know that the lady was a mannequin. My aunt, who lived in the house, used it for her dressing making class. I didn't know my mother. Maybe I imagined that the mannequin standing at the top of the stairs was my mother. The stairway with the strange atmosphere has an important place in my memories. Thank you.
So Eunice, this is a personal story?
No, this is a story from the university course.
Ah,
It's, from the university, the model of compositions.
okay. But the person who wrote the story, was that a personal story or their imagination?
It's unknown. I
Okay,
choose the story because I was training myself to write narrative essays and,
well, it was a great story.
to refine my writing skills.
It was a great story. It actually made me remember something from my youth, which was a long time ago. But that was a great story. So once again, applause. Kenza, would you like to say anything about the story?
What? I don't listen.
Would you like to say anything about the story just told?
I like the story very, very lot, and a lot of parts I don't understand because there is a person in the sound talking, but I like it a lot, and I love it. So
Okay.
good, yes. And thank you for sharing the story with us.
Simona, thank you, Kenza. Simona, would you like to say anything about the story? And just before you do, that guillotine you're using, I used to help, my mother was a school teacher, and I used to help cut papers, but she stopped me because I'm the only person in the world who can use that and cut a paper crooked.
Well, I just did actually, so you're not the only one. There's two of us.
All right.
Unes, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I really enjoyed the story. It was a very emotional story, actually. The fact that the person, the writer, didn't know his mom, never met his mom, maybe that was his mom. I really enjoyed it. I actually enjoy it more when you tell stories. And I remember that you started reading and then went on to telling your stories. But I really enjoyed this story anyway. So thank you very much for sharing it with us.
All right. I really enjoyed the story as well. Like I said before, it made me think about some things. It gave me flashbacks to stories my grandmother used to read to us when we were very, very young. And it also reminded me of a couple of, when I was very, very young, I would hear a lady talking to me when I was in a room by myself. And I'm like, okay. And she would call my name and she would talk very softly. I had to listen very hard to understand her. Well, years later, I talked to my brothers and sisters, and they also experienced this lady talking to them when they were in a room by themselves. So to this day, we don't know. I would say it was an ancestor talking to us, but we don't know. And now that they're older, they don't remember telling me that they heard the voice. But, yeah, that's why I said you gave me flashbacks. Woo! Okay. So I understand there's some other people in the cafe. There's another person in the cafe that wants to tell a story. All right. And can we keep the light up so we can see that wonderful face? Okay. So before you tell us your story, please introduce yourself. Tell us your name and something about yourself.
Okay.
And then the
Hello,
story.
everyone. I am Hiba. I am from Morocco. I live in Marrakesh. Yeah. Oh, this is my story. I think about love story. Yes. Yeah. Sunset. A girl living a village in a kingdom with her father. And one day, the girl was in the forest to watch sunset, and the prince also he was there watching sunset. And he saw the lonely girl watching the sunset, and he wanted to hear and ask her, "Why are you alone here?" She said, "Why do you want to know?" He was silent and sat near her. He said, "What's your name?" She said, "I am Lana, and I am Joseph." And he not told her he is the prince. And she started talking about her life, and she began to read for him. He is not in the talk more and more. Time passes quickly, and time is up for sunset. And she said, "I gotta go." And he told her, "I want to see you again." So she won't install his heart. And after they always come to watch the sunset together and start to feel in love with him. And after 2 weeks, she come back to see sunset and waiting Joseph. And he not come this day, and Lana become sad because she don't see Joseph, and this day and latter day he not come. And Lana will take more time and she was looking for him. What happened about Joseph? He's left me or what? And she goes and said, and Joseph not coming. After a long time, Joseph come back and he is on the wine looking for this runner. He told her what happened to him and tells her that he did the press and finally found her house, then knocking on the door. And Mr. John, her father, opened the door and he saw the prince and he's become shocked. He's not believed that the prince in this house. Then ask him, what do you want, Mr. John? Are you okay? And John, to be shy, and he said, I want Lorna. And Mr. John no understand what happened. Then Lorna was to hear Joseph and she can't believe he's come back. And she went to him, then hugged him more. And then Joseph told her about everything about him. And Lorna became choked and Joseph said, I feel guilty about that. Please forgive me. And I fixed that. I promise you, I don't leave you anymore. And her father, he said, please, my daughter, forgive him. And then Lorna forgave him, and was Joseph so happy because she forgave and confided him love how much love her. And he said, I still remember the first day I saw you. I can't forget you. I adore you so much. I want you in my life. And yeah, and I called, yeah, and Joseph said, I will marry you. And Lorna, she said yes, and her father was happy because his daughter become brave. Thank you.
Okay, love story. Boom, 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 boom. Kinza, would you like to say anything?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very good.
Thank you. I'm not having. Thank you.
And just one more. Wait, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet.
Oh, sorry.
I know we want to share some comments about your story. And also I want to share with you about relaxing and practicing. And the more you tell the story, the more relaxed you'll become. And an exercise you can do about telling a story is to look at what's on your screen and then look in the mirror and say the words. Then look at the screen and then look at the mirror and say your words. And after a while, you won't have to look down for the words and you become more relaxed. I like the way you told the story, and I want you to tell us stories in the future. But the more you tell, the more relaxed you'll become. And the more relaxed you become, the more we'll have to say about your storytelling. So Kinza is a student in Italy?
Yes.
Okay.
I live in Italy, but I'm from Morocco, so.
Yes. So she's going to say a few words about what she thought about your story,
Hiba, I like it a lot, your story. Very,
Thank you.
I like it a lot. What the story is very emotional because that the first you saw a love couple, a love romance, but when the protagonist doesn't come to their dates, oh, it's shocked. But years ago, he presented to her home, and the father and he saw and married is the life story you say the film or in the series, and it's so emotional and very, very good. And I thanks you a lot for sharing this story.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Simona, you know I'm coming to you. Yes.
I've got a question. Have you written the story yourself?
What? What you say?
Have you written the story?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh wow! So it's a it's a creation. That's really nice. So
Thank you.
very well done. So hats off.
Oh,
Very well done for
Thank you so
writing
much.
that story and then telling it to us. It
Thank you
was
so
really nice.
much.
While you were reading it, I was wondering, did she write that story? It sounds really nice. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for sharing it.
Thank you.
I always like when somebody comes and tell a story that they created themselves. So thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you too.
The power of storytelling can never be completely described. I began writing stories when I was in what we call elementary school, primary school. And I wrote a story that I used to get bullied a lot. I was bullied all through school. And in the 6th grade, I wrote a story, and it was the one and only time that my whole classroom applauded, because we had to read it. The teacher asked for people who would read their stories, and no one else put their hand up. I put my hand up. I read my stories. I did sound effects. It was a science fiction story. I did sound effects. I read the story, and my class gave me, everyone clapped, and they gave me almost a standing ovation, but everyone clapped. So that brought us closer together. Storytelling to me always brings people closer together. Well, I want to thank Kenza, and I want to thank Eunice, and I want to thank Heba, Heba, and for their storytelling. And I want to thank Simona for sitting in and listening and sharing her comments with the storytellers. Princess Kenza, please continue your journey, writing stories, listening to stories, sharing stories. And I want to thank Waleed for flying the magic carpet today, and everybody who's connected. Now, Friday, I leave to come to Marrakesh. And because of the wonders of the international dateline, I will leave on Friday, but I will arrive on Saturday. And because of the international dateline, when I leave on the 24th, I will leave, I think, on a Friday, but I will arrive in the United States on a Thursday. International dateline. So I look forward to seeing people in Marrakesh, and I think we're going to do I know we're going to do some Zooms from Marrakesh, and we're going to do some hybrids where we have live and Zoom at the same time. So on behalf of John Rowe, who is running around, I understand, in Marrakesh right now with meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, my name is Baba C, and I want to thank all the wonderful people that were gathered here today and had comments. And Eunice, keep doing what you do, keep inspiring, and keep writing. And Heba, the same thing to you, especially when you write the stories that you share. All right, everybody, that's going to be it for right now. So until, well, I never say goodbye. No, 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 no. Anyhow, Michael Jackson song. I never say goodbye, but I do say to be continued. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all those assembled, to be continued. Until the next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you next week. All right.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye bye.
I don't know why you like me to say this, but see out. I'm coming to Marrakesh. I'm coming to Marrakesh. All right, good folk. I'm out.